Hi, welcome to the set of Dialogue, where we just concluded a discussion with Jennifer Turner and Keith Schneider on a looming water crisis, or the notion of a looming water crisis. And I want to ask you to quantify that for us. Is crisis an overstatement, or are we actually, I think in our longer conversation, Keith, you handicapped the problem in China as about a 7 on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being worse?
It's a water crisis. It's, until recently, it was a crisis of health. It was a crisis of access, accessibility around the world. And people got sick from water. There's a lot of disease from lousy water, polluted water. What we're now seeing is that this crisis has now moved into a dimension of security. And it's food security and energy security, which is political security and economic security. And in China, they have a crisis. They are facing a very significant shortfall in available water supplies in their prime energy development regions. And if they fail economically, the globe fails economically. So yes, it's a crisis.
Where are we on that crisis scale? If China's at a 7, where's the United States?
I think that we're in pretty good shape. 2, 3, 4, depending upon which region. Nationally, 2, 3, 4.
Ours is manageable.
We are totally manageable, and we are seeking to manage it, and we are responding to it. But there are places like the Colorado River Basin, which feeds 20 some odd million people in our southwest Phoenix, Los Angeles, the big agriculture sector, some of our largest farm growing areas. And the moisture in the Colorado River is now going up and down and up and down. It's very unsteady, generally down. And how we manage that is a national problem, and it is being managed by the states. The feds are involved in terms of data supply and some oversight. The courts are involved, for instance, and that's happening in the Midwest is in pretty good shape. Great Lakes is in pretty good shape. Within the smaller crisis, our big problem, in our view at Circle of Blue, is what's happening in the Great Plains between the energy developers. The Great Plains are now the new Saudi Arabia of the North America. North Dakota is the number 4 oil producer, going to number 2. Very large water use, very big confrontations coming between agriculture and energy in the Great Plains.
And Jennifer, we should clarify for people that you look at this globe and all these globes on the set, you see a lot of water, but we're talking about fresh water.
We're talking about fresh water, yes. And while there is a lot of that salt water, and desalinization is being pursued quite aggressively around the world, the Chinese, in fact, Beijing just made an announcement that the city is going to start shifting to depend more on desalinated water, likely using nuclear power to desalinate and pump it. Also, there are plans in China to also desalinate water using nuclear power and pumping it into Inner Mongolia to help mine coal. So that there are people there, but that's a technical fix, and the water energy confrontation is not just about technology. It's also there's issues of water conservation in China. Also, a lot of water cleanup needs to be done. They need to be doing the best of any country in the world on that, and this is probably their biggest shortcoming on environment.
When you think about new energy sources or renewable energy sources, solar or wind or whatever, which holds the most promise as far as being an efficient way to generate energy and not use a lot of water, and the potential to generate enough energy to meet significant needs?
Solar photovoltaic uses
again?
Photovoltaic essentially uses no water, except in the manufacturing. And it has enormous, potential because it harvests the sun and the energy is free. You don't pay for the energy, you have to pay for the conversion.
And in the most optimistic scenario, full court press with science and development and industry, how far away are we from that significantly replacing fossil fuels?
We're seeing in China non-fossil fuel energy, wind, solar, nuclear, and hydro, going from 200 plus gigawatts to almost 800 gigawatts in a decade. If that was the United States, that would be about 80% of our generating capacity. All right? They're growing so fast that it's not going to move their needle. It's still going to be 20% of their power.
Clearly, you're not working for ExxonMobil.
Right. But in the United States, we're at 1%, 2, 3%, and maybe 10% if you put in hydro. And we're not going to move that needle at all, and that's a political issue.
Do you see any movement in this country, any glimmers of hope?
Well, I think, because my China Environment Forum, we focus a lot on U.S.-China cooperation on clean energy and water issues.
Is there a lot of cooperation?
There's a lot of. China, because of all their investments and their policies to promote clean energy, China has become the international hub. And there's a lot of experimentation going on, not only on the solar, wind, but also carbon capture and sequestration, algae, which a few years ago people would laugh at. But China, basically their energy needs are so great, they do everything. But there are a lot of U.S. companies and people looking to China that whoa, they are moving so fast and at a scale that is mind-boggling, that there could be a lot of really good solutions, which is why it's really encouraging that, Department of Energy has been working with China. There are these clean energy agreements that the U.S. and China signed back in 2009, and one of them is to promote, joint technology, on solar, clean coal, and that, that kind of cooperating on these kind of technologies can be really helpful. And also, more Chinese clean energy investors are also starting to come to the United States, which...
We will hope for one of those exponential leaps in technology that can provide some significant progress. Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to hear an entire discussion with Jennifer and Keith, come to the Wilson Center website, and on the upper right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see a tab for TV and radio. If you click there, you can find your way to the entire dialogue program featuring our two guests. Thanks.